Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it's greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this in one go, therefore I apologise in advance if I stumble over my words going forwards, and indeed if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it can't be helped, and hopefully it's not too much of an issue for you. Any background noise, it's my neighbours, can't be helped either. So, today is yet another Eurovision related video here on my channel. Last time I spoke about Eurovision 2017, 3 years on from that event, and today it's another instalment in this Look Back series that I've been doing on my channel for a very long time now. I'm going to be talking about Eurovision 2018, 2 years after it took place. Now I have the information in front of me just to make sure I don't forget anything. My last video was just over 50 minutes long, so I'm really going to try and cut down on that time in this instance. Eurovision 2018, there's a whole bunch of videos on my channel all about it, including my reaction to the semi-final results, so feel free to take a look if you so wish. Eurovision 2018 was the 63rd contest, and it took place for the first and only time to date in Lisbon, the capital city of Portugal. They did a wonderful job. They'd been waiting a very long time to win, even for a top 5 finish. Salvador Sobral absolutely crushed the opposition in Kiev the year before, and it was a really spectacular show. For me, in pretty much every aspect, one of the strongest contests of the past decade, if not the century so far. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on anything about this contest in the comments down below. There'll also be links to my other social media pages in the description as well. Tuesday the 8th, Thursday the 10th and Saturday the 12th of May were the dates in question. The Altice Arena was the venue, shaped a bit like a UFO right on the seafront, and it's one of the largest indoor arenas on the continent. I think the capacity for the 3 shows was somewhere in the region of maybe 15,000. Really fantastic. No LED screens, but various lighting techniques instead, similar to 2010. I think that was maybe one of the slight letdowns about the 2018 edition, because a lot of the performances did look fairly similar. Without LED screens behind you, there's only so much you can do. So we did see a lot of innovative staging in terms of props. More on that as I move forwards. 4 female hosts, in contrast to the 3 male hosts the year before. They were Silvia Alberto, Daniela Rua, Catarina Furtado, and in the green room, Filomena Cautela. You don't need 4 hosts at all, but they did an alright job. The contest's theme was all aboard, sort of fitting in with the nautical aspect of the city. This is the official CD, which you can still buy online. A sort of blue colour scheme, and then this seashell shape just there. 43 songs, a joint record, and it really was a wonderful show and a great production. A triumph for the broadcaster RTP. I'm going to get straight into this. Let me know your thoughts, of course. Semi-final 1 took place on the 8th of May. 19 countries participated and voted, alongside Portugal, Spain and the UK, the 3 automatic qualifiers voting in this specific semi-final. I'm going to talk about the countries that didn't qualify first. Let me know your thoughts. I know I keep saying it, but let's get a discussion going in the comments, maybe. Song 1 was Azerbaijan, and this was Aysel, who's a bit of a jazzy musician, I think, with Cross My Heart. This was more straight-up pop. She was joined by a bunch of people on stage, and there were these shard-like podiums that they were performing on as well. She was running about. It was quite energetic, I guess, at times, but the song didn't stand out as much as it perhaps could have done. So you could say the staging may be a bit of a letdown. Being on first, unless your song is truly spectacular, you might well struggle. Azerbaijan, for the first time, did not get out of the semi-finals, having debuted in 2008 and pretty much finishing in the top 10 most years in that time span. This, however, Cross My Heart finished 11th with 94 points, 12th with the public and 12th with the juries. So, yeah, a bit of a surprise there that Azerbaijan did not go through. But this first semi-final, was a bit of a bloodbath. Certainly, probably the strongest semi-final we've ever had. Song 2, Iceland. The Icelandic national selection wasn't great in terms of quality, in my opinion, and they chose, the Icelandic public and jury, Ari Olafsson, young guy, really likeable, can't really fault him at all and his vocals. The song was just disappointing. It's the sort of thing we've heard many times before. It's not really original. Our Choice was the title of it. 19th place, last, with 15 points. So officially the weakest song, number 43 of 43, in the 2018 contest. In the split results, he was last with a big fat 0 in the public half of the results, and he was last with, of course, those 15 points with the juries. Really harsh. He actually got 7 points from Belarus in terms of the jury vote. Fun fact. This song, you know, it was performed very simply. He was quite smartly dressed, sort of like a white jacket. A couple of other singers on stage with him. Little bit cheesy, yes. I think this suffered from just being really quite unoriginal, and it was on early, and I think a lot of people expected it to finish last. Song 4, Belgium. Well, what can I say? If you've watched my videos for a long time, if you've seen my reaction video to the 2018 semi-final run results, then you will know how devastated I was that Belgium missed out. Having finished in the top 10 3 years in a row, 15, 16, 17, great songs as well. I was expecting more of the same when I first heard A Matter of Time by Senek, female musician, real name Laura Grosseneken. I thought it was fantastic. Very Bond-esque, you know, strings, a sort of luscious sound, quite mysterious and moody. I had high hopes for it. But then the rehearsals happened and people started going off it, very similar to Blanche the year before, and we all know that she did very well in the end. But Senek was actually receiving quite a bit of hate, I would say. I thought it was uncalled for. I don't think she sounded that bad at all. On the night, I thought it was a fine performance, but the issue was the staging. It was pretty much non-existent. She was wearing a partially see-through dress, which wasn't great, but we can move over the outfit because that shouldn't matter. Her vocals were fine, but she was on the catwalk, essentially, if you want to call it that. Nothing else really happening behind her. It wasn't a very colourful performance, didn't need to be in terms of the lighting, but it was just lacking something, and it ended up being quite bland and forgettable, it has to be said. I still like the song. It is my personal number 1 from the 2018 contest, but I can understand why it struggled. 12th place, 91 points, 16th with the public, 9th with the juries. Belgium received 12 from the Bulgarian jury, interestingly enough. It's a very good song. The studio version is excellent, but live, it fell on its face just a little bit. Song 8, Belarus. This was Alexeyev, a bit of a heartthrob figure with Forever. I'm going to be honest, I think this song is pants. I think it's very, very boring. But again, I can sort of understand the appeal. It's a sort of love song, this whole thing with roses going on. He didn't sound too bad. Young performer, quite promising at the time. I don't know what he's doing now. But this finished 16th with 65 points. He finished 13th with the public and 17th with the juries. This was just one of those songs that was there, sandwiched between much better entries, it has to be said. Moving on, song 11 was Macedonia, North Macedonia. This was IQ, I as in what you look through, Q as in snooker Q, and this was Lost and Found. Male-female duo, and the outfit that the female was wearing, I'm just going to check her name here, wasn't the most appealing. It was sort of bright pink, and the song itself, 2 songs in one. We have a sort of reggae thing going on, which is quite interesting and fresh for Eurovision, and then we have a poppier, catchier chorus. The female is Maria Ivanovska, who is several years younger than me. The guy was born in the 1980s. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, this song is good. Again, the studio version is fantastic, but live, it was a little bit all over the place. I'm not really sure they knew how to stage this. And the same applies to Belgium. It's not super up-tempo, it's not super stripped back, so it's quite difficult to get this right. If you do get it right, you could be onto something really spectacular. Otherwise, it could just end up being a complete mess. I really like the song. It shouldn't have struggled as much as it did, but there we are. Vocals were a little bit dodgy too. 18th place, 24 points, just 6 from the public, 18th place, 18 from the juries. 18th place. Moving on, because I want this video to be quite rapid. Franca is next for Croatia. Crazy, song 12. Again, not so Bond-esque, but you've got that sultry, slinky, mysterious, moody thing going on. We get several songs like this every year. And she was alone on stage, which I think was maybe not the best idea. Wasn't really anything about this performance that was visually appealing, I guess. She sounded great, and some people, some journalists, started thinking that Croatia could have been a dark horse at the time, but in the end, no final, no surprise. 17th place and 63 points. Croatia were 17th with the public, 13th, above Finland, it's worth saying, in the jury half of the results. Not much else to say. I haven't really listened to it much over the past couple of years. Greece, song 14. I think a lot of Eurovision fans were disappointed that this didn't qualify. Gianni Terzi with Onira Mu, performed in Greek, which is thumbs up from me. And Jana, sounded great. I think she had blue paint over the lower parts of her arms, something like that, sort of reflecting the blue on the Greek flag. I thought this was a pretty strong performance. We waited a long time to hear it live. I don't think she was nervous. I thought it was quite confidently done, but it just wasn't high impact enough, perhaps. I say that, Lithuania went through, and that is super low key. This song finished 14th with 81 points, 10th with the public, but 16th with the juries, so they let Greece down. And no final for Greece as well, which is a bit of a rare thing. Armenia, song 16, Sevak Kanagyan. He's a very experienced performer. He was on season 4 of The Voice of Russia, won the X Factor in Ukraine, and is a coach on The Voice of Armenia, so he's been around a lot. Kami, the name of his song, in Armenian, again, thumbs up for that. But I guess this performance was just a little bit forgettable as well. Didn't really stand out much. Rich vocals, he sounded fine, it's quite a powerful tune, but in the end, I think this was struggling from the get-go. 15th place, 79 points. He was 14th in both the jury and the public half of the results, and he had a sort of circular structure on stage with him, which sort of added a little extra something, and a smoke machine, but it still didn't stand out much. Switzerland, song 17, underrated, it's fair to say. This was Zibbs, Z-I-B-B-Z, with Stones. This finished 13th with 86 points, 15th with the public, outrageous, and 10th with the juries. So it was the public who let Switzerland down. Male, female siblings here, Corinne and Stefan. They're from Zurich but based in LA. I think Corinne, yes, she gave birth in May of last year. Her son is called Bowie. Interesting. She looked sensational on stage in Lisbon. Really, really fantastic, it's worth saying. This was a good performance. She had a flair, and she was moving about the stage very confidently while her brother played the drums, or pretended to play the drums. This is a sassy, striking song with a sort of strident, packs a punch sort of beat. That's the best way that I can describe it. I thought this was fantastic. I've watched the performance back many times. Should it have qualified? Maybe, but this was a really tough semi-final. 13th place though, that's disappointing. Switzerland, underrated, but these days, maybe no more. Moving on to semi-final 2, we had 18 countries. They all voted alongside France, Germany and Italy, the automatic qualifiers who voted in this semi-final in this instance. Song 2 was Romania. Azerbaijan missed out on the final for the first time in 2018, so did Romania. Very long national final. This was the song that they chose, and in the end, they didn't even get past semi-final. The Humans, the name of the group, female lead vocals with Goodbye, mannequins all around them on stage. Fair enough. The song, quite rocky in terms of genre, but it was on early, it didn't stand out too much, the song didn't really go anywhere, only missed out by a small margin. 11th place, 107 points, 13th with the public, 8th with the jury. So it was the public who let the Humans down. I don't mind it, but Romania has definitely sent a lot better. Song 4, San Marino. This was Jessica featuring Jennifer Brenning with Who We Are. Jessica Muscat is Maltese and has tried to represent Malta a bunch of times. Jennifer is German. This song, Who We Are, I guess it's a pop song with a bit of rap, which never seems to do that well at the contest. There were robots holding up signs size doesn't matter, things like that. It wasn't super comical, it wasn't a jokey entry, it just wasn't very strong. San Marino had quite a lengthy national final setup as well. This wasn't the best song they could have chosen, but 17th place, so not last, 28 points. San Marino were 16th with the public, above Malta, and 16th, tied on points with Russia in the jury half of the results. I don't really have much else to say about San Marino. It never stood much of a chance. Russia then, song 6, the first time they missed out on the final, and rightly so. Julia Samoylova with I Won't Break. She was due to represent Russia the year before, but there was that whole controversy about her entering Ukrainian territory, Crimea, I believe. I won't go into it here, I'm sure you know the story. But anyway, she was back. This song, so bland. It's almost as if Russia didn't care. They didn't want to do well. That's the vibe that I was getting at the time. Julia, in a wheelchair, she was atop this sort of mountain structure. She wasn't even singing parts of this song. The backing vocalists were doing all of the work, and to be honest, they didn't sound terribly good either. And there were dancers as a sort of distraction. It just wasn't great at all. 15th place, 65 points. 11th with the public. That's above the Netherlands and Malta, which to me, I just find that quite baffling. And 17th with the juries, who I have to say, I agree with in this instance. Not one of Russia's finest. If anything, the weakest song they've ever had. Georgia, song 10. This is fine, quite charming. An all-male group, ethno-jazz band Irial, except this is not really a jazz song, but it is, excuse me, it is quite ethnic, and the vocals were on point, and it was a very classy, decent showing, but it never stood much of a chance. For You, although the song was entirely in Georgian, 18th place, 24 points, last with the juries, and 17th with the public. Like I said, nice vocals, but never really stood much of a chance. Poland next, song 11. This is so generic, and the more I think about it, the more I realise that actually this didn't deserve to go through, maybe, purely because it just felt very uninspired. This was Gromi, a DJ, featuring Lukas Meyer, who is a Swedish musician, with Light Me Up. This is, according to Wikipedia, tropical house, a sort of dance pop song, very chart friendly, exactly the sort of thing that would do well in the charts all across Europe. 14th place, it has to be said, this is a bit of a flop. 81 points in the split results. Poland were 10th with the public, but down in 15th with the juries. The issue here with this performance, the vocals I guess were alright, but the camera kept cutting to Gromi, who was doing this sort of movement, this dancing behind his little booth. And I thought, why on earth are we seeing him all the time? We don't want to see him, we want to see the stage in all its glory, we want to see something else. They could have had dancers maybe, I don't know. I just think the way that this was not necessarily staged, but the way it was shot just wasn't great. Anyway, Poland did not go through, which was a bit of a surprise at the time. Malta, song 12. I've said it before, and I will say it a million times more. Malta, always underrated it seems, in the public half of the results. Christabel, great young performer. She smashed the opposition in the Maltese national final. The song Taboo, about mental health. She was on stage with a dancer, and there was this sort of light-up box as well. Lasers, we don't often get them at Eurovision. Plenty of them going on. It really was a very flashy performance. Vocals were pretty good, and I like this song, I really do. 13th place, 101 points. In the split results, unsurprisingly, Malta did very well with the juries. 5th place, just 8 points, and last with the public. This is why you need the juries, I'm afraid, to avoid travesties like this. Just taking a look here, Malta received points from just 2 countries in the public half of the results. 7 from Australia and 1 from Denmark, but 10 points from the Romanian jury, 8 points from the Italian jury, the Slovenian jury, the Danish jury, the San Marinese jury. So yeah, once again, the public underrating Malta. This song maybe wasn't quite good enough to qualify anyway, but it should not have been last with the viewing public. Latvia, song 14, another Bond-esque song, very slinky, very 50 Shades of Grey, mysterious, ooh, you know, what's going to happen next. In a Red Dress, I believe it was, Laura Risotto with Funny Girl. Again, I think fairly generic. We've heard a lot of songs like this in the recent past. 12th place, 106 points. This was 15th with the public, 6th with the juries. Fair enough, don't have much else to say about it. And then Montenegro, perhaps the most forgettable song of the 2018 contest. Vanja Radovanovic with Inja, performed in Montenegrin, so that has to be praised. 16th place, 40 points. He was wearing a rather unappealing suit. A couple of other singers on stage with him. The staging was non-existent. It was always going to be quite stripped back because the song itself is fairly low-key. I use that term again. This song finished 14th with the public and with the juries. Yes, indeed. I don't really have anything else to add. Montenegro, I don't think many people are listening to it these days. And I think the issue with Montenegro in the contest is that when they have had a national final, they tend to gravitate towards what many people would say is the wrong song. Anyway, the grand final. How long have I been filming? Okay, 20 minutes. Okay, here we go. The grand final. Let me know your thoughts. 26 nations, one winner. Song 1, Ukraine. They closed the second semi-final. This song, hotly tipped, not necessarily to win, but to do very well. This was Melovin, who had a sort of funky contact lens in his eye during the national final and during Eurovision, I believe, as well. Under the Ladder. Very gothic, very theatrical. He emerged from this coffin, and then his piano was in flames. He was wearing a sort of long black, almost cape-like outfit. He's got quite a unique voice, and I can understand the appeal. 17th place for this was really quite surprising, though. Maybe because he was on first, I don't know. But it was a really good, strong opener to the show. 130 points in the grand final. He was 7th with the public, and last, which I really do find quite surprising even to this day, with the juries. In the first semi-final, he was not in the first semi-final. In the second semi-final, he was 4th with the public and 10th with the juries, and therefore finished in 6th place overall. Fair enough, but I think he expected a lot better. Song 2, nobody wants to perform second. It was Spain's turn, and if any Eurovision fan, well, any Eurovision fan will tell you, Spain love the bottom 5, and that's pretty much what happened again in 2018. Spain finished 23rd with 61 points, finishing 24th with the public, and 18th, that's above Denmark, and Finland, and Ukraine, in the jury half of the results. This was Amaya and Alfred with Tu Canción. Are they still together? I think not. But anyway, Operación Triunfo, that sort of reality singing competition, this was the song that came out on top in that selection. Tu Canción, your song, cheesy, schmaltzy, you know, long gazes into each other's eyes. We've seen it all before, we've heard it all before. It's a sweet song, it was nicely done, but it was on early, and I really found it baffling at the time that some people thought this was going to turn things around for Spain. It just wasn't strong enough, in my opinion. 23rd place, disappointing, but not a shock. Song 3, Slovenia. This went through, quite surprisingly, it has to be said, in 8th place in the split half of the results, 9th with the public and 9th with the juries. In the final, Falane, Thanks But No, by Leah Sirk, beautiful performer. Excuse me, dear me. 22nd with the public and 19th with the jurors. This song is sassy, but not super over the top, I would say. The chorus, very repetitive. We had that long pause as well, where Leah kept performing, acting as though the backing track had, you know, gone to pot or whatever. That wasn't really necessary. It made things more awkward than necessary. The song's not bad, but was it really strong enough to be in the final? I don't know. 22nd place, 64 points, fair enough. Not a surprising result there. Lithuania, Song 4, Ieva Zasimauskaite. Great singer, tried loads of times to represent her country, and finally she got the chance. This song, When We're Old, pretty much about the relationship with her husband. I'm not actually sure they're still together, but he was on stage in Lisbon right at the end. It was very emotionally charged, very touching, very sweet, very, very sparse in terms of the instrumentation and everything. She was sort of sitting on the stage, for the first third of this song. I loved it from the moment I heard it, and at one point it was the third favourite to win. Extraordinary. 12th place, that's about right, with 181 points. Looking at the split results, 10th with the public, 11th with the juries. In the first semi-final, 9th with the public, and a non-qualifier, 11th with the juries, meaning that she went through in 9th place in that first semi-final. Really nice. We had not holograms, but sort of various images popping up on the screen throughout this performance. You'll know what I'm on about if you've seen it. I thought it was terrific. Really good. Austria, Song 5. Who on earth thought that this was going to get the bronze medal? Not me. I mean, it's a good song, gospel, pop. Cesar Sampson, great performer, great vocals, very confidently done. Nobody but you. This was expected to qualify, but not finish third. The juries, I can sort of get why they liked it, but to win the jury vote, I don't really understand that at all. He finished third with 342 points. In the split results, he won by a decent margin. The jury result, he was 13th with the public. And in the first semi-final, he was 2nd with the jury and 5th with the public. When the jury results were over and done with, in the 2018 Grand Final, I thought, okay, it's not going to be Vienna 2019. There was no way he was going to get enough points to win the contest. And that's exactly what happened. He fell to third. That's still very impressive. As I've said before, Austria seemed to flip between good results and quite disappointing results. This was a good one. Third place, seriously impressive. The performance, he was on a sort of podium that was elevated up. And yeah, he sang really well. What else is there to say? But then again, somebody who sang even better was Elina Nechaeva for Estonia. Song 6, La Forza, the Force, performed in Italian for Estonia. Fair enough. This finished 8th with 245 points. I thought that this was going to push harder for the win. It didn't. She had that massive dress with all of those projections on it. It looked amazing. She sounded sensational. And it's sort of operatic stuff, which doesn't always go down well with a neutral crowd, let alone Eurovision fans. But this was really, really strong. Taking a look at the split results again, Estonia were 9th with the public and 6th with the juries, and in the first semi-final, 3rd with the public and 7th with the juries, meaning Estonia went through comfortably in 5th place. Really different, but really strong. Norway next, Song 7, Alexander Rybak. Why he returned to Melodi Grand Prix, I don't know. He didn't need to prove a point. This song, which he wrote himself, is called That's How You Write a Song. Lyrically, not the best. If anything, I don't want to say childish because that sounds very harsh, but certainly the lyrics here weren't the most imaginative at all. The song, quite catchy, he performed it quite confidently with that cheeky grin on his face, and he sort of interacted with things that we could see on our screens at the start of the performance. A couple of other people on stage with him. Out came the violin towards the end. And this song finished 15th with 144 points. At one point, it was the favourite to win, which was just baffling to me. 11th with the public, 16th with the juries. In the second semi-final, 3rd with the public, 2nd with the juries. He won the second semi-final, albeit by a fairly small margin. So to go from winning a semi-final to 15th in the final, that's quite the transformation right there. Yes, indeed. Moving on. Dear me. Portugal. The host nation, Song 8, Claudia Pascual and Isaura with O Jardim. I said it at the time, I'll say it again. Like hell, this song deserved to finish last. This is probably the greatest song to finish last at Eurovision. I love this so much, I really do. I find it so calming, soothing, beautiful. A song about Isaura's grandmother. She was on stage, hidden for most of the song. Claudia, pink hair, she looked great. I've kept up with her music since. And just fantastic. This song, I think I've covered everything I need to say about it. The Garden, the English translation. 26th, I just can't believe it. 39 points. Maybe people found it too boring. It was over very quickly. It's quite a short song, but it's really, really touching. I think it's terrific. And it actually got me more interested in Portugal in the contest. I paid attention to Festival de Canção. Just remarkable. It was 25th with the public, 25th with the juries, who should have known better. Nothing else to say. Criminally underrated. Moving on, Song 9, the United Kingdom, Surrey, who'd been involved with Belgium and Blanche a year before, and Loic Notte for Belgium in 2015. Storm, the name of the song. This was a very safe entry once again, and she had a sort of walkway on stage and these diamond light up shapes. But of course, what's best known about this performance is the stage invader. Suri chose not to perform again. I think a lot of people really supported her after that performance because she had the resilience to keep on fighting. She did a smashing job. 24th place, 48 points. She was above Sweden and Australia in the public half of the results. 20th place, 23rd with the juries. This song, like I said, safe pop. It was never going to do that well, but the performance was great. Moving on, Serbia. For me, I don't think this was strong enough to be in the final, but I think a lot of neighbourly voting helped. This was Sanja Ilic and Balkanica with Nova Deca. 19th place, fair enough, 113 points. In the split results, Serbia were 12th with the public. That's quite high. 21st with the juries, and in the second semi-final, 8th with the public, 11th with the juries, and therefore going through in 9th place overall. Quite traditional in terms of the instrumentation. Sanja, there he is. He's a composer and keyboardist. Balkanica are a group that have been making music since the late 90s. This song for me, I mean, if it's your cup of tea, fair enough. But for me, I've never been able to enjoy it much. 19th place. Moving on. Germany, song 11. Now, Germany got around the fact that there was no LED screen by bringing this large sheet with projections splayed onto it. It really worked. A touch of the Ed Sheeran about this, but any song that sounds like something he would do is probably going to do well in Eurovision. Michael Schulte with You Let Me Walk Alone. This was just really beautiful. It's a song about his father. Really nicely done. Touched on the heartstrings. And 4th place, Germany turning things around. It's unbelievable to think that you can go from really struggling, so many last places, and then suddenly you finish 4th, almost 3rd. 340 points. Taking a look at the results, 6th with the public and 4th with the juries. Just a really lovely song. Yes, perhaps nothing original, but at Eurovision, originality maybe doesn't matter too much. Anyway, Albania, song 12. This is fantastic. Eugent Bush-Pepper, one of the finest male vocalists I've seen at Eurovision, with Mal, which means yearning, performed in Albanian, clap, 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 11th place, 184 points. I think this is absolutely justified. He sounded so good, hitting those notes that most male singers could only dream of. Bit of a rock song. This is what happens when Albania don't send female ballads. And I wish Albania sent more variety at the contest. This was different. This was top-notch stuff. Easily one of the best songs that Albania has ever sent. Eugent is the man. He went through in 8th place from the first semi-final, 3rd with the juries, 11th with the public. That's too low. In the final, he was 7th with the juries and 18th with the public. It's just a really good song that was very well performed. The vocals absolutely on the money. We move on to France. This was one of the favourites to win, and it ended up finishing nowhere. Madame Monsieur, who are a married couple now. I believe they're married. They've just had a child, I think, with Merci. And this song is about a refugee child, I believe. Yes, Emily Sat and Jean-Carl Luca. And yes, I'm just checking here. Yes, it's about a girl named Mercy who was born to Nigerian refugees on a boat on the Mediterranean Sea in the midst of the European migrant crisis. This song, it's almost hypnotic in a way in terms of the melody. I thought it was very well performed. Merci, merci, that sort of hand movement going on, the crowd really getting behind it. Right at the end of the first half, but in the end, just finished nowhere and really low in the public half of the results. Overall, 13th place, 173 points. Considering that this was one of the favourites to win, it really is a disappointing outcome. Way down in 17th with the public and 8th with the juries, who I agree with in this instance. Moving on, Czech Republic, song 14, always going to do well, quite radio-friendly, sassy, catchy, brassy. Mikolas Josef, confident young performer who injured his back the week of Eurovision, but he seemed in an energetic mood for the grand final. Lie to Me, the name of this song. 6th place, 281 points. It remains the Czech's best result in the contest to date. He was 4th with the public, 15th with the juries in the grand final, and in the first semi he was 2nd with the public and 5th with the juries, which is quite impressive because sometimes the juries prefer something a little bit more conservative. Anyway, it's a good song, it was catchy, it was fun. Moving on. Denmark, song 15, terrific. Rasmussen, Higher Ground. This was a very powerful, ominous sort of song. Makes you feel as though you're marching into battle. People said that it was very Game of Thrones-esque. Rasmussen, massive beard, 9th place, well deserved, 226 points. He won the public vote in the second semi-final, but was 12th with the juries. I don't really get that. This song is really strong. In the final, 5th with the public. I don't think people expected it to finish that high, but it did. It's a really good song. 20th with the juries. Big difference there. This song, I've always liked it. It's my 3rd favourite, almost my 2nd favourite. And he was joined on stage by a group of other guys, and there was fake snowfall. Just a really, really good song, powerful, terrific, deserved to be in the final and finish in the top 10. Australia, song 16, flopped in the public vote, but I think people saw it coming. Jessica Mauboy, very successful in her homeland, and she had been part of the interval in 2014 in the second semi, I believe. We Got Love, just your bog standard pop song here. It finished in 20th place, quite low, it's not a bad song at all, 99 points. In the results, Australia were last with the public, but 12th with the juries. And in the second semi-final, 7th with the public, 3rd with the juries. It's a good song. You can sort of sing along with it. Jessica sounded okay. Some of the high notes she wasn't really hitting, though. Could have been her downfall. I don't really know. It's not bad, but Australia is capable of better and more original music too. Finland next, back in the final after some years away. Sara Aalto, really likeable female musician. She was the runner-up on the UK version of the X Factor the year before, I believe. She can sort of sing anything. Monsters, the name of her song. Pop stuff. Finished 25th. That's quite low as well, with 46 points. She was upside down on this big wheel at the start, and it really was a little bit over the top. Very Eurovision, a lot of neutral viewers would say. Should have finished a bit higher, but there we are. 7th in the semi-final with the public and 15th with the juries, so just went through in 10th place. In the grand final, Sara was 21st with the public, so maybe a little bit overhyped, I don't know. 24th with the juries. I said at the time the staging was this song's letdown because it was too over the top, too messy, could have been a bit more stripped back. I don't know. I really don't know. It was just nice to have Finland in the final again. Song 18, Bulgaria, one of the favourites to win. Absolutely finished nowhere. 14th place, 166 points for Equinox, a male-female group, some of whom I'm not actually sure are Bulgarian. One of them was on The Voice in Australia recently, and I think was the runner-up. But anyway, Equinox with Bones. This is a moody, I use those terms again, moody, mysterious sort of song. Very different, and I don't know, I think it was a breath of fresh air actually. They were performing on these little podiums, and in the semi-final Bulgaria went through from the first semi in 7th place, finishing 8th with the public, 4th with the jury. In the final, 14th with the public and 9th with the juries, so not a serious contender for the win at all. Shanna, Georgi, Vlado, Trey and Johnny, the members of the group. It says here that Johnny was on America's Got Talent, and I feel as though he was on something else as well. But anyway, doesn't really matter. Equinox, yeah, it didn't do as well as we all thought. Moving on. Moldova, song 19. This just grew in popularity after the rehearsals because of that nifty but simplistic staging with the opening and closing of doors and 3 other people on stage dressed the same as the lead singers. Doridos with My Lucky Day, another Philip Kirkorov hit at Eurovision, it has to be said. This song, catchy and just 3 minutes of pure fun. The staging really worked, elevated this song to new heights. 10th place, 209 points. In the grand final, 8th with the public, that's above Estonia, Lithuania, Austria, and pretty impressive as well. 10th with the juries in the second semi, 2nd with the public, 7th with the juries, and therefore finishing 3rd overall. Yeah, just a really fun song, catchy, and the staging really nifty. When Moldova do something a little bit wacky, it usually works. When they're doing something more serious, they don't usually make the final. Interesting, that. Sweden, song 20. Well. Benjamin Ingrosso, big star in Sweden from a very successful, well-known family. Dance You Off. Pure pop, very chart-friendly. There he was on this little constructed stage with red pulsating lights, looking very confident, really working the camera, feeling good, and maybe he was a little cocky, I don't know. But this is Sweden, they do sort of expect to finish in the top 10 every year, I guess. This song, 7th, so another decent result. 274 points. He was 2nd with the juries, who I'm sure appreciated the slick nature of this performance. But he was 23rd with the public with 21 points. And that was such a shock at the time. You could hear the crowd in Lisbon through your television sets, genuinely surprised and somewhat delighted by this outcome. I couldn't believe it. But thinking back now, this song was overrated by the juries. It's not that amazing. There's not a whole lot going on, and vocally okay, it's all right, but I don't know, it's just not that strong a song. Let me know your thoughts on it. Sweden are capable of much better than this, and I do think Sweden definitely need a bit more originality when it comes to Melfest and indeed the songs they send to Eurovision, but we'll gloss over that for now. 7th place in the semi-final, second semi, he was 2nd. He won the jury vote and 6th with the public. Moving on, Hungary, very different now. AWS, song 21, Vishlat Nyar, Summer Gone, performed in a very energetic and somewhat chaotic manner. But then again, AWS are a metal group, so it was going to be very, high energy, I guess. 21st place, 93 points. This was well respected by the press in 2018. A lot of people saying that this was a breath of fresh air, a very welcome sound for the contest. And I have to agree. We need a song like this every year, I feel, because a lot of people who aren't usually interested in Eurovision suddenly were because of this song. 15th with the public, down in 22nd with the juries, and in the second semi-final, Hungary were 5th with the public and 13th with the juries. So the public definitely liked this more, not a surprise. Lots of fire, pyrotechnics, very gravelly, sort of shouty vocals towards the end, and growling, that's the specific term, is it not? I don't mind it, it's not one of my big favourites, but you have to say the performance was really quite something. We'll leave Israel for now. The Netherlands, my second favourite, song 23, this was Whalen, returning, having been part of the Common Linnets, who finished 2nd in 2014, just terrific. Outlaw Inham. The issue here, perhaps the staging, that crunking dance move, not really sure that was necessary. He was pretending to play the guitar with that southern drawl in his voice. This was definitely bluesy, dirty rock. I've always liked it. He's a great singer, very charismatic, and I wouldn't be surprised if he came back for the Netherlands, maybe as a songwriter in the near future. Anyway, 18th place, a little bit disappointing. I was really supporting it. 121 points. He was 13th with the jury, 19th with the public. In the second semi-final, 4th with the jury, 12th with the public. He was the last person to be announced as a qualifier. I really like it. Again, a nice breath of fresh air in terms of the sound, but this was never really going to do terribly well, I guess. Ireland, song 24, really came up on the rails the week of Eurovision. Simplistic. Ryan O'Shaughnessy, related to Gary O'Shaughnessy, who really struggled for Ireland in 2001, with Together. He was on Britain's Got Talent, I think, as well. There he was, pretending to play the guitar, and a girl off to one side pretending to play the piano. The vocals were really gentle, sweet, but sounded good. It was the dancers, this whole sort of gay love story going on. Some people found it controversial, China, for example, but it really worked. They were doing their thing off to one side, fake snowfall, a bit Denmark-esque there, and a lamppost that was straight out of the Chronicles of Narnia. It was really, really beautifully done. It really was. And I think people were utterly charmed by it. I've said this before, if you send something charming to Eurovision, you could be onto something very special indeed. It happened with Denmark last year, let's not forget. This song then, 16th, maybe should have finished a bit higher, 136 points. In the split results, he was 16th with the public and 14th with the juries. And in the first semi-final, he was the last person to be announced as a qualifier, 6th with the public and 8th with the juries. Definitely deserved to be in the final, it's as simple as that. Cyprus, Fuego by Eleni Ferreira. We all know it. Now, I'm going to be honest, this perhaps should have won. Song 25, the best Cypriot entry in terms of results they've ever had. Second place, 436 points in the first semi-final, won the public vote, 6th with the juries, and then in the final, 2nd with the public and 5th with the juries. This was just so striking, ultra sexy, ultra confident. You had slick choreography, flames, flashing lights. It was sassy, it was cool. It immediately grabbed your attention from the moment Eleni strutted out onto the stage. And arguably, this song is more popular than the winning entry. Let me know your thoughts on it. Terrific pop stuff. Italy closed the show. Song 26, Ermal Meta and Fabrizio Moro, male duo, both involved in the Sanremo festival before. Fabrizio really going for it towards the end of this song. They worked quite well together. Classy stuff from the Italians. Of course, that's what we expect. That's what we get every year, pretty much. Non mi avete fatto niente, which I believe means you can't do anything to me. Can't quite remember. But anyway, this is a song about sort of terrorism and war and sort of how we come through that. Various lyrics appeared on the screen in various different languages. Good way to get the message across because this song was entirely in Italian. 5th place. People were sleeping on this, but I think it was always in with a decent chance. You can never rule out Italy. 308 points. Big difference though. 3rd with the public, almost 2nd, and way down in 17th with the juries. I don't really know why. Maybe they were put off by the vocals more than anything else, but I thought this was really, really nicely done. And yeah, Italy bringing us classy stuff once again. So that leaves Israel, the winner, their 3rd win, is it not? I hope I'm getting that right. But anyway, Netta with Toy, and this was just such a favourite to win from the moment it was announced as the winning song, or the chosen song rather, for Israel. Sorry, I'm doing two things at once here. They've won 4 times, I do apologise. 78, 79, 98 and 2018. This song was quirky and strange. It was pop, but not straight up pop. We had those cat swinging arm ornaments on stage. You had Netta with her little machine. It was very plinky plonky, but then she belted it out. Great singer. And very catchy, very colourful, very vibrant. The crowd up on their feet, absolutely going nuts for this. It was always in with a very good chance. Great place in the running order. I just thought that people were gravitating towards Cyprus more. The momentum was with Eleni on the day of the contest. But Israel, always a serious contender. Toy won, finishing 1st with 529 points. 4th with the public in the first semi-final, won the jury vote. And then in the grand final, 3rd with the jury and 1st with the public. So yeah, not a surprising winner at all. Won quite comfortably in the end, almost 100 points ahead of Cyprus. And yeah, what else is there to say about this song? Just really quite quirky and different and fun. And Netta is a great singer, no doubt about it. This was a song with a message and almost a sort of feminist anthem, you could argue. I'm not your toy, you stupid boy, things like that. I don't know. You could read into it that way. Do I like this song? Yes. Is it one of my big favourites? No. Would I have preferred Cyprus to win? In all honesty, yes. But Israel won. They hosted in Tel Aviv last year, and it was a great show. What else is there to say? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I have now covered the 2018 Eurovision Song Contest. I don't think I missed anybody out. I really apologise if I did. A big, long ramble once again, and would you believe it, nearly 50 minutes again. What a surprise. Let me know your thoughts on anything Eurovision 2018 related in the comments. I'll be back soon, probably talking about the 2019 edition. As I've said before, things are changing for me a little bit. from September, so there will be less videos on my channel, less content from me for the foreseeable future, but I will still make videos when I've got a bit of time and the motivation to do so. If something happens in the world of Eurovision or Junior Eurovision, I will try and get a video out there. Feel free to spread the word about this video and this channel if you so wish. Leave a like, much appreciated. And until next time, thank you for putting up with this ramble. Much appreciated. Bye for now.